What's up, everyone? This is Kenny Pugh, your life and business strategist. Excited to have you with me on this awesome Friday, where we are going to discuss the 12 steps to leave your 9 to 5. That's it. The 12 steps that are going to help you leave your 9 to 5. No, this is not going to be about hype. No, this is not going to be about fluff, but I'm going to give you the 12 steps that I utilize when transitioning out of my 6-figure salary into becoming my own boss. And I want to make sure that you understand the steps that are required in order to make that transition, and that you don't get caught up in the hype thinking that if you just shout it and that you believe it, that's all it takes in order to be successful. There's a lot more to it than that. That stuff will give you the encouragement to get started, but I want to give you the roadmap that is going to take in order for you to be successful as you transition up out of your 9 to 5 and into a place where you become your own owner or your own business owner. So without further ado, I want to make sure that you understand that there's a chat room for those of you who are registered for this particular webinar. There's a chat room underneath the video player there. And if you want to ask any questions, you can post it there. For those of you who are joining me by way of Google+, you can feel free to type your questions in the Q&A application that's provided to you there as well. And this is just going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be fun. I want to hear from you. I want to hear some of your questions along the way. And we are just going to plow through these 12 steps so that you can leave your 9 to 5 successfully. And looking forward to seeing you on the other side of the 12 steps so that we can get your success story as well. I am going to share my screen at this time so that you can see the information that I have to share with you today. And we're just going to take it one step at a time. Please stand by. All right, you should be able to see my screen at this point. And once again, this is the 12 steps to leaving your 9 to 5, the 12 steps to leaving your 9 to 5. If you cannot see my screen, just yell out loud, type in the chat room and just yell out loud that you cannot see my screen, but you should be able to see it now. The cover slide there, 12 steps to leave your 9 to 5. My name is Kenny Pugh. I'm a life and business strategist. I help people in the areas of money, business, and relationships. I want to make you or help you move beyond average in those specific areas of your life. And so today we're going to talk about the 12 steps to leave your 9 to 5. This is one of the most popular webinars that I've done. I don't know what it is about these 12 steps or why people want to leave their 9 to 5. But I'm trying to give you the information that is going to help you do that. And so with that being the case, let me give you just a brief story about who I am. My name is Kenny Pugh, as I mentioned. I'm a life and business strategist. I'm a certified life coach. I'm an author and I'm a speaker. I'm a financial services expert. I write for blackenterprise.com as well as for Headline News. And so I am very, very interested in making sure that you're able to make that transition and so that you can achieve your dreams. And so I'm certified to be able to do these different things. I come to the table with over 18 years worth of experience in consulting and coaching, primarily in the financial services space, but also in the areas of retail and manufacturing as well. And I took the step some time ago, and I'll share that with you in just a few minutes. The experience that I bring to the table is that I've had a chance to work with some large and prosperous organizations like SunTrust Bank, Bank of America, Lending Tree. I've done some work for Fulton County. I've had a chance to do some work for some other organizations as well, too many to name on this one slide. Plus, I don't want to bore you with that information. I want to get to a place where we can help you break free from whatever it is that you're looking to break free from. My brand is KTP Financial. That's one of the companies that I run. That's the company that I use to leverage workshops and do some of the financial coaching and business coaching that I do. And so that's one of the brands that I leverage. And then as an educator, I help people improve their businesses, their finances, and their relationships through workshops, one-on-one coaching, and webinars. And so just wanted to kind of take you through that. Here's a snapshot of me. I get called on by media on a regular basis to go in and share information about different topics regarding, money, business, and relationships. Those are the core areas that I focus on. And as I mentioned, I'm a certified life coach as well. So I like to help people in the areas of life and business. So that is one of the things that I have dedicated my life to, and that's my focus as I move forward, is to help people break free beyond average in their lives and help to break them free from the bondage of not being able to pursue their own businesses. And I think that's why you're actually tuned in today. So this is a picture of me talking about being single. This was before I got married, and talking about how to be single, sexy, and celibate, because that's one of the stories of my life. And I did that on Headline News and had a chance to share some information about my book. I also came back onto Headline News shortly thereafter to talk about, the questions that fathers need to ask potential son-in-laws before they extend or grant or approval to extend, his daughter's hand in marriage. And so that's one of the topics that I dealt with on Headline News as well. I also had a chance to go back and talk about business and money on HLN, and that's the snapshot that you see here on Headline News. And so I had a chance to go and participate and share some insight on Headline News. I've also been called upon on Atlanta Live, where in this particular segment, I had a chance to sit down with Hassani and Danielle Pettiford and talk about business, relationships, and money. I had a chance to do that, and it was a great time as well. So I've been on Atlanta Live. I had a chance to do some work with CBS and Peachtree TV and been a part of some of the local radio stations here in Atlanta, as well as NPR, as well as the Tom Joyner Morning Show. I had a chance to be interviewed on that as well. And so that's a little bit about me from a media standpoint. Here is my family. Like I mentioned, I got married, no longer single and celibate, but I am now married. And this is a snapshot of my family, myself, along with my wife that you see on the right there. And then seated are my two youngsters. Both of them are in college. They are a part of my family now through the marriage to my wife, and they attend college here in Atlanta, Georgia. And they were actually recreating a childhood photo here, which is why you see cake on my son's face. He was trying to recreate a childhood photo back when they were like 4 years old and 7 years old or something like that. Back when they were with their mom in Buffalo. And so this was just kind of a fun time celebrating my son's 19th birthday. And so we like to have fun. You can see my dog there did not want to smile for the camera, so he kind of turned his head. And so it's always fun to have kind of interesting dynamics when it comes to family. So that's a little bit about my family as well. Let's get social. Let's talk about being social. Feel free to Periscope if you like. I actually did kind of a teaser before I went live here on this particular webinar, and invited some people to be a part of this particular webinar. You can use the hashtag 9to5transition, hashtag 9to5transition, if you want to share some of the notes or some of the points that come out of our time together today. Here are some ways for you to connect with me on Facebook at Kenny Pugh. You can also connect with me by way of Twitter at Mr. Kenny Pugh. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Kenny Pugh and on YouTube at Kenny Pugh as well. I'm also on Periscope, and you can reach me by way of the same handle as you see there for Twitter at Mr. Kenny Pugh. And so that takes care of our social requirements. And so let me just kind of give you a background about my story, because I think it'll help you understand why it's important and why I'm passionate about this and why I want you to think about making that transition and understand some of the things that are associated with it. So I grew up in a city called Trotwood, Ohio, which is a suburb of Dayton, Ohio, up there in the Midwest, home of my Ohio State Buckeyes, who I adore and I love. And just kind of support, and I'm a diehard fan with regards to that. I graduated from high school with honors. My GPA was around 3.8 or so, and so I graduated from school with honors. I attended The Ohio State University and studied industrial and systems engineering, and so I had a chance to blend the technical and the business aspects of life by way of my pursuit in my degree of industrial and systems engineering. I focused on a lot of engineering management courses, and so understanding kind of how to blend the technical and the processes of efficiencies and things of that nature. And so I became very, very interested in how to make things more efficient and more effective. And it's actually still working for me today as I operate and run my own business. I graduated and I obtained a job in consulting. And so some people graduate and they go to work within the industry. Others of us graduate and we obtain jobs in consulting. Consulting jobs are basically positions where you get hired by a company to get assigned to different projects at different client site locations. And as part of that, you get to do a whole bunch of different things. And so my first project was in Columbus, Ohio. My second project was in Cleveland, Ohio. And then I did some work in Los Angeles. I did some work in Seattle, some work in San Francisco. So I did not have the same kind of approach to the standard fresh out of college job. I had a chance to go and travel. I had a chance to work at different organizations, including Chase Manhattan Mortgage, LTV Steel. I did some work at Washington Mutual. I did some work with Microsoft, Home Advisor, and Lending Tree. And so I had a chance to work on specific short-term projects at each one of those companies. So I got a chance to see a lot of stuff in my early career as a professional. I worked countless hours. I made a lot of money, but after it was all said and done, there was something that was missing. Something was missing in addition to what was being made from a money standpoint and the hours that I was putting in. Man, something was missing, and I couldn't really pinpoint what it was, but I identified, even though I was having fun traveling, even though I was making lots of money, there was still something that was missing from my life. And so lesson number one is this: no matter what company you work for or how much money you make, if you are not living out your purpose, there will always be a void. And so if you are taking notes, like I'm encouraging you to do even right now, I want you to take that note, is that no matter what company you work for or how much money you're making, if you are not living out your purpose, there will always be a void in your life. And we want to try to find a way to remove that void that you have, even though you might be making money, even though you might have all of the things that you want from a material standpoint. If you're not doing the thing that you're called to do, or if you're not having if it's not a satisfying experience, then you're going to still eventually run into that brick wall. So that's lesson number one. Lesson number two is that you have to identify that there are two important days in your life: the day that you are born, and then the day you actually find out why. Most of us have already experienced that day that we have been born, and we celebrate that each year. But the day that you really find out why is the one that brings illumination to your life. And it's the one that actually brings out the fulfillment, and the light will turn on in your brain, and you'll say, aha, that is what I've been called to do. And now I understand it, and I'm ready to move forward and trying to figure out, man, how can I support the thing that I really, really, really want to do from a purpose standpoint, the thing that I enjoy doing, and the things that I can really impact other people's lives by doing. So that's lesson number two. Working in corporate America gave me possessions. I had a house, I had cars, I had jewelry, I had a chance to really travel wherever I wanted, but I realized that it did not align with my purpose. And so there was a disconnect there. And so when you think about that, you have to make a decision. And so guess what I did? I left my consulting job. I started my own business, and then it failed. I started my own business, and then it failed. The reason why my business failed is that I didn't do my due diligence up front to make sure that it was a sustainable model. I started my business. It had some success. I was able to, do a lot of different things, but I did not have the business background and the acumen. I did not do my research up front to make it a sustained business entity for myself. I ended up losing about $85,000 or so through my real estate investment business. And it was totally my fault. I did not dot my I's and cross my T's when it came to a couple of the transactions that I have been working on. And as a result of that, one of the transactions fell through, and then subsequently the second transaction fell through. And these were commercial real estate deals that I was working on. I ended up losing about $85,000 in cash, and then some additional assets as well. And so it was a very humbling experience for me. And that's why I look back on that time. It helped me to learn the things that I didn't know. So, and I'll share a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. I was depressed, I was disappointed, and I was dejected. And I know if you've ever been through a place where you you've had your life kind of collapse around you. You reach a point where you kind of feel depressed, you feel disappointed, and you just kind of feel dejected. And it's one of those things that when you start to feel those emotions, it's not a fun experience. And so you want to figure out, okay, man, how can I get out of this? I'm depressed, I'm disappointed, and I'm dejected. But here's lesson number 3 that comes out of it. It's when you're at your lowest point that you sometimes have your greatest revelation. And so I can really speak to that, because it was at that point that I realized that I could not be cocky. I could not continue to act like I didn't have to go through the process of learning. And it was one of those things that you really, really, really have to acknowledge your greatest revelation so that you can say, okay, aha, what am I supposed to learn from this, and pick up the pieces and move forward. So what was I going to do? I had reached rock bottom. I had no money. I had lost a lot of money. A lot of the people in my life had, kind of strayed away, because I was no longer the life of the party. I was not one that would go out and buy rounds for my friends at that point. And so at that point, it was like, okay, I don't have anything material to offer to my friends. So a number of them kind of faded away. So you have to really take into consideration who is in your circle. And we'll talk about that as well. I got another corporate job to get back on my feet. And so that leads to lesson number 4. The worst outcome is that you can always go back to doing what you are currently doing. And it might seem like pretty elementary or basic, but the reality is, if you step out on faith, if you go and actually pursue a particular venture or whatnot, the worst outcome is that it fails. The worst outcome is that you have to go back to what you're currently doing. That's the worst outcome. And so if you can really stomach the fact that the worst thing that can happen is that the business can fail, the worst thing that can happen is that I have to go back into corporate America or going back into obtaining a job, then really that's not really all that bad if you think about it. I looked at it because my vision, my focus was on material things and money. And so when I lost those things, I lost my identity. But when you think about it from the standpoint of the worst outcome that can really happen is that you have to go back and obtain a job and go back to doing what you're currently doing, that's not all that bad. If that's the worst outcome that happens, that's not really all that bad. So that's lesson number 4. So I worked in that corporate job until I had to come face to face with my fears again. It was time for me to decide whether I was going to step back out again. I always had that itch that even in the midst of working that corporate job and getting back on my feet, that I wanted to step out again. And so I procrastinated until I was actually miserable, because I knew a couple of years prior to me re-stepping back out and starting another business, I was miserable. So for those 2 years, it was very tough for me. It's one of those things that, I was sitting back and I was wondering, man, what am I supposed to do? I hate coming into this place. The commute is terrible. I don't like being in a cubicle jungle environment, even though I was one of the leaders in that particular group. It still was tough for me. And so I procrastinated. But my procrastination actually led me to a place of misery. I was miserable. And every day that I walked into that office, I was like, why am I here? There's so much more that I want to do with my life. And you can probably relate to that. You could probably think to yourself and say, you know what? I have that feeling too. I really, really don't like going into my office each and every day. I really, really don't enjoy the people that I work with. And so utilize that as fire and fuel for the fire that will ultimately allow you to move forward. So don't procrastinate. One of the things that you'll do when that happens is that you'll get to a place where sometimes the decision will be placed upon you or forced upon you, and that's not what you want to be. You'll either be miserable or you'll have a decision that will be forced upon you, and you will not have any choice. So you want to do things on your own term. So why procrastinate? And lesson number 5 is this: don't procrastinate, because you're only delaying your breakthrough. You're only delaying your success. You're only delaying the opportunity for you to be able to touch the lives of those that you come across. And so that's lesson number 5, is that if you really have a business idea, your idea is for you, but it's also for the people around you as well. It's also for those people to be exposed to your business and your services so that they can experience the solution to a problem that they have. And so when you look at business is not just for you. Your business is also to touch the people that need what you have to offer. So don't procrastinate, because you are only delaying your breakthrough, and that's not what you want to be. You want to make sure that you are able to pursue the things that's going to not only impact and touch your life, but the thousands upon thousands of people who need what you have. You suppress the smile and the joy that's waiting on the inside of you. When you procrastinate, you reach a point where you no longer smile. You reach a point where you're no longer enjoying life. And that the stuff that's really suppressed down on the inside of you now, because you don't like going into that place you go to each and every day, working from 8 to 5, working from 9 to 6, working 12 hours a day if you have to. And that's the place where you spend the majority of your time. It ought to be a place that you enjoy and not a place that you despise. When you procrastinate, you remain inside of the box that has been placed around you. So we've been taught that you go to school, you get a job, and you work it until you retire. That's the box. That's the box that people will place around you. That's the box that will not allow you to really experience the fullness that's on the inside of you. You have untapped potential that's on the inside of you, but you've been conditioned, you've been trained to say, well, this is the maximum that I'm supposed to get out of it. I'm supposed to get my degree. I'm supposed to go to work. I'm supposed to work at this place, even though I don't like it, even though I don't like the people around me. I'm supposed to stay here until I retire, and then I live happily ever after. Well, what happens if you can live happily ever after a lot sooner in your life? Why would you wait until you're around 58 or 60 or 62 or 64 or 65 before you retire so that you can enjoy life? What happens in the meantime? Well, that's the box that is placed around you and placed around that was placed around me as well. And you got to keep that in mind. When you procrastinate, you also fail to launch the legacy building dream that could actually be a conduit, a tool, a resource that will actually take your family and your upcoming generations to the next level. You can now have your kids work for you if you want. Their kids can become employees of the business that you run. If it becomes successful, you can now transfer it from yourself to your kids to their kids, and now it becomes a legacy asset within your family. And so wouldn't that be awesome as well, to be able to have a legacy asset that you can grow with? So I want you to actually imagine the possibilities. I want you to imagine being able to live out your greater purpose. I want you to imagine never having to really experience another Monday morning again. And so what does that look like? Well, if it's a Friday and you're on your way home, some people don't enjoy that because they're already thinking back to the next Monday, where they have so much work on their plate that they have to get done. And so that might be you. You might experience that on Friday afternoons on your way home, that you are already thinking about the work that you have to do on Monday morning. And that's no fun. That's no way to live. And the life shouldn't be about thinking about the misery that awaits you after the weekend is over. Imagine creating revenue doing something that you love, that you get paid to actually do something that you smile about, that you enjoy doing, that you have a gift or a talent at doing it. So whether it's coaching people, whether it's doing hair, whether it's writing books, whether it's doing music, whether it's cooking, whatever that thing is, imagine getting paid to do the thing that you love. Wouldn't that be awesome? Imagine having that retirement experience now in your life, as opposed to having to wait until you're 58, 60, 62, 65 in order to experience it. So that's just imagine creating revenue doing something that you love. Imagine being able to create an exit from the normal 9 to 5. And we're going to talk about that in just a couple of minutes. Imagine being able to create an exit from your normal 9 to 5, not going in today and quitting, not going in on Monday and quitting, but imagine being able to create the exit from your 9 to 5. And actually, at the end of the day, imagine being able to spend more time with your family. If you don't have a family right now, imagine being able to spend more time with yourself or your friends or the people that you actually enjoy being around. Imagine being able to do that. So imagine the possibilities. When you think about starting your business, imagine the possibilities. Because one of the things I've noticed as well when working with clients is that we become so conditioned that we no longer dream. And so when you just imagine going into a kindergarten class and saying, hey guys, hey young ladies, hey young guys, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a fireman. I want to be a policeman. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. Like, they're so excited about being able to dream that it's like really contagious. And so you need to think about that. Do you still have that same zeal in your life? Do you still have that same excitement when you tell people what you do? Do you get excited about the things that you're currently doing within your profession? Do you have that same kindergarten exuberance in your voice? Are you like, yeah, I'm excited to be doing this in my cubicle each and every day from 9 to 5? Is that you? Are you excited about the work that you do? If you're not, then Imagine being able to create that exit from your 9 to 5. So what are you waiting on? There's no better time than right now to start to plan out what you need to do. Procrastinating has gotten you everything that you've gotten this far, and we're trying to rid you of that. And so the question is, and I'll just kind of pose right now, are you ready to take action? If you are ready to take action, type "I'm ready" in the chat room. If you have access to it, say "I'm ready to take action." That lets me know that you're serious about moving forward. And then the question I will ask you in return is this: if not now, then when? If you're not ready to take action now, then when? This is a whole process. The 12 steps that we're getting ready to go through is a process that will take you step by step to the place where you can feel comfortable about making that jump. And it doesn't have to be today. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. It doesn't have to be, next week. But you need to start taking the steps now so that eventually you'll reach the place where you feel, okay, I've taken the steps necessary to get to where I can feel comfortable about making this jump. So 12 steps to leave your 9 to 5. I'm going to cover as much as I can during our time, and I actually will promise you how to take it further with the information and to take it to the next level if that's something that you desire to do. So 12 steps to leave your 9 to 5. So we're going to cover that, the 12 steps to leave your 9 to 5 and to get started with your business. We're going to talk about how I can assist you with the process beyond the content within this webinar. Because I can only cover so much within this period of time that we're together. And then I'm going to share with you some business ideas that you can start today, because some people are just curious. They want to know, they want to transition, but they don't have an idea of what they can do. So I'm going to share with you some business ideas that will allow you to take a step forward so that you can, at least start planning out in your mind. Okay, that sounds curious. Let me do some research on it and let me move forward with it. So enough for now. Let's go ahead and get started with the 12 steps to leaving your 9 to 5. Step number 1 is you must know your why. Why will give you a goal, or it will give you goals to work towards. And so it's important for you to, number 1, know your why. Why do you want to leave your job? Do you want to leave your job because you are bored? Do you want to leave your job because you feel like you have something better to offer, or you want to pursue something personally? Because at the end of the day, if you're just leaving your job because you're bored, but you're not built for running your own business or entrepreneurship, or you don't understand why you're making that transition, you're only going to fail. And I don't want to see you do that. If you're bored and you don't have goals or aspirations of running your own business or becoming an entrepreneur, then you just find you another position. Find something that then stimulates you so that you can go back and work that job, another position, and feel comfortable about going to that job or position each and every day. But if you realize that, hey, my why is that I have some other stuff that I want to accomplish, it gives you a goal to work towards. It gives you a set of goals that you can work towards as well. And when you know your why, it keeps you focused during the process, because becoming a business owner, becoming an entrepreneur is not going to be a smooth sailing experience. It's going to be an ongoing, never-ending journey of learning, of responding, making decisions, and being able to adjust on the fly. So anyone who tells you that you're going to start your business and everything is just going to be smooth from day one is lying to you. Anyone that's trying to sell you hype about how you're going to be successful if you do 1, 2, 3 and you'll be a 6-figure earner next week is lying to you in most instances. And so I want to make sure that you understand your why, because your why will give you goals to work towards. Your why will keep you focused during the process. And so that's number 1. That's the first step, is that you have to identify your why. Number 2, you need to research the entrepreneur lifestyle. You need to research the entrepreneur lifestyle. So what does that look like? You need to understand that being an entrepreneur and what it looks like on the outside is a lot different than when you're wearing the shoes of an entrepreneur. So what is important? You need to understand that there's no boss. When it comes to being an entrepreneur or owning your own business, there's no boss. And so guess what? You have to be self-motivated. You have to be self-driven in order to get things done. And so if that's not you, then you might want to stay where you are, because entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. That's why a number of people fail at it, because they do it for the wrong why, and they don't understand the entrepreneur lifestyle, which is no boss, You have to be self-motivated. You have to be self-driven, and you have to be able to solve problems on the fly. And so that's one of the things that you have to really, really, really take a look at and understand. It's important for you to understand those things. What else? Step number 3, you need to brainstorm business ideas. And so the one thing that you can't just say, okay, I'm going to start a business, quit your job, and not know what you're going to do. And so one of the things that's important for you is really, really, really to take a look at some of the ideas that you can generate. Those ideas become the platform of what you can potentially build on. And so what are you good at? What are you good at? Are you good at being a mechanic? Are you good at teaching? Are you good at consulting? Are you good at selling stuff? Are you good at making stuff? Are you good at are you good at sales and marketing? Are you good at designing things? Are you an interior decorator? Is that your thing that you do well? What are you good at? And then it has to go beyond that. What are you good at that might make money? And those are two different things. You can be good at something, but it might not necessarily be the idea that is going to generate money for you. So you have to find a mutual, you have to find a mutual thing there so that you can really figure out what it is that might make you money that's built into your skill set. So keep an eye on that. Number 4, you need to understand your finances. You need to understand your finances. And what does that mean? You need to understand your personal finances. You need to understand your personal finances. Let me say that again. You need to understand your personal finances. And so when you take a step out, you need to understand how much money it's going to cost you to live each and every month. You're going to need to know if some of the things that you currently have on your plate, are they wants or are they needs, and being able to make some sacrifices in the process. You have to really understand, what do you have in the form of debt? And so, ideally you would pay off your debt prior to taking this step. But for some of you, you might have an obligation to a person like Sally Mae that's going to be around for some time. And so that might not be realistic for you. You might be using this as a platform to hopefully pay off Sally Mae a lot sooner than you would otherwise. And so you have to understand your personal finances. When you leave your 9-to-5, part of that financial picture is understanding your insurance obligations. And so some of you have families with kids. If that's the case, you need to understand how much it's going to cost you to insure your family once you leave your 9-to-5. I promise you that when you leave your 9-to-5, that little $30 or $50 or $75 per pay period that you might be giving up to obtain insurance through your employer, that number is going to go up more than likely. That number is going to go up pretty significantly, more than likely. And so you have to determine and build that into your financial picture. And so you have to understand your personal finances. You also have to understand your business finances. It's important for you to know your business finances because you need to know how much money it's going to cost for you to operate your business, to get it up and running, how much it's going to cost you to market your business. You're going to have to know some of these things about your business before, ahead of time, so that you can project what you're going to need to be successful. So understanding your finances is number 4. Number 5, you need to create a business plan. You need to be productive when it comes to launching your business. So creating a business plan allows you to organize your thoughts. It allows you to remain focused. It allows you to organize your thoughts. It allows you to remain focused. And that is a great thing because some people, when they start a business, they start their business, and then every ad hoc request that they get from a potential customer or client, they start working on it. And so if your job is to create, you start a bakery and you create cakes and you create pies and those sorts of things, but you come to somebody and they need you to also create, these breads or something that is outside of your core competency of being a bakery or someone who deals with the dessert side. You shouldn't be baking bread. You shouldn't be making those sorts of things. That's something else that somebody else can specialize in. If you don't specialize in bread, then why add that into your repertoire? That might not be your best interest to focus on. So, kind of keep that in mind. Understand that creating a business plan will keep you focused, and it also helps you remain organized throughout the process. And so you'll know what your financial fit picture looks like. You'll know the services and the products that you want to offer to your customers, and it'll help you remain focused and organized. And so that's one of the things that when I'm working with my clients, we kind of work through at least coming up with a draft or a shell of a business plan so that you know what you're working towards, you know what you're working with, and that you can stay focused and organized along the journey. Hopefully this makes sense. If I've said something that has resonated with you so far, feel free to type in, okay, sounds good. Okay, sounds good. I just want to make sure that you are connected, that I'm sharing information that is relevant to where you are, and that there are some aha moments happening along the way. I'm a big person in aha moments. I want you to have your aha moment so that you can really say, okay, all right, that makes sense. That's something I didn't think about. That's not something that I considered. And so I want to make sure that we're connected in that way. So type in into the chat room and just say, okay, I understand, or sounds good, or, amen, or high five, whatever it is, so that I can know that you're staying connected to me. So creating a business plan, remain focused, remain organized. Number 6, understand the responsibilities of entrepreneurship. And I laugh with this particular point, because you need to understand that being an entrepreneur is different than anything else that you've ever experienced. It's different than any experience that you've ever gone through in your life. You become tech support, you become the admin, you become sales, and you become marketing. You become all of those things if you are operating as an individual starting off. And so you don't have the ability to take your computer that might be malfunctioning up to your tech support group to have them fix it. You have to think about some different things that might come up as a result of what happens if something goes wrong with my technology. And so you become tech support. You have to find creative ways to get that stuff taken care of. You become the admin. You check your emails. You respond to emails. You send out emails. You do some of the administrative things like organizing your templates for your business and all that good stuff. You can become admin. You can become sales. And this is one of the things that you may never, ever want to rid yourself of. Some of those other things that I just named are things that you could potentially allow yourself to be rid of. But being a salesperson, it ought to be a part of your blood. It ought to be something that you say, this is my idea that we're bringing to life. I'm going to sell it, because nobody can sell your idea like you can when you're passionate about it. And so you become sales, and you also become marketing. How can I get this information out to the people who need to hear it? And so keep that in mind. Understanding the responsibilities of entrepreneurship. You become tech support, you become admin, you become sales, you become marketing, you become all of these different things, administrative support for when people have things go wrong with the product or service that you might be offering. And so you have to think about all of those things, and those are the responsibilities of entrepreneurship. Keep the things that you can. If you have the ability to outsource some things, then you might be able to do that along the way. But a number of people will be taking on these roles themselves as you're leaving your 9-to-5. Number 7, know your strengths and your weaknesses. Know the stuff that you are good at, and know the stuff that you're not so good at. And so that you can start to say, okay, I'm not a good marketer, so I need to find a way to have that taken care of. And oh, by the way, while you are working your 9-to-5, allow your 9-to-5 to sponsor your transition plan. And so some of the stuff that we're going through, these are steps that if you decide to work with me along the way, I'm going to help you with as you are still employed, so that you can allow your employer, your day job, to sponsor some of this stuff so that you can get it in place before you make the transition. But you need to know the stuff you're good at. You need to know the stuff that you're not so good at, so that you can figure out a way to address those things. So that's number 7. Number 8, you need to know the market that you're going to be a part of in that industry well. And so a business idea with no market knowledge really equals back to the workforce, because you'll not have any success if you don't know who your competitors are, if you don't know what their pricing is, if you don't understand what it takes for them to be successful in that particular industry or market, then you'll find yourself back in the workforce if you're not careful. So keep that in mind. The business idea with no market knowledge equals back to the workforce. And so keep that in mind. That's important. That is important. That is important. It is important for you to realize those things as you move forward and go about your business along the way. Let me take a pause break right now. I want you to take a step, just kind of take a pen and paper right now. And I want you to think about some of the things that have been discussed. Out of the first 7 things that have been discussed, what are some of the things that that you need to consider, that you need to take a look at with regards to your business? What is it that has been shared so far that is something that you need to work on? If there is a point out of the first 8 that we've covered, if there is something that has resonated with you, I want you to type into the chat room so that I understand that you are thinking about these things, whether it's understanding your why, whether it's understanding the entrepreneur lifestyle, whether it's being able to brainstorm your business ideas. Do you know what you're trying to do? Do you know what you're trying to accomplish? Do you understand the financial impacts of what you're trying to do? Have you thought about a business plan? Have you thought about roles and responsibilities? Have you thought about what you do well? Have you thought about knowing your industry and market well? And then kind of think through those things and type in the chat room whether or not any of those things resonate with you. Let's move on to number 9. Number 9 is know who you can count on. So the entrepreneurial journey is a long and winding one. And so every entrepreneur needs a mentor or a coach or an accountability circle who you can count on when you're along that journey or along that road. And so every entrepreneur needs a mentor or a coach or an accountability circle. It's important. It's important for you to realize that. It's important for you to think about those things as you move forward. Number 10, let's look at branding you and your business. This is taking place simultaneously as you are still working your business. I want you to think about that you are still branding you and your business, even if you still have a 9 to 5. So you need to, as part of that process, start letting people know what your business is so it builds recognition prior to you leaving your 9 to 5. You want to hit the ground running. You want to be in a position where you can hit the ground running and move forward with the things that you want to accomplish with your business. So start branding you, start branding your business, and come up with a way to make that happen. Number 11, identify your plan B. And I know some people will get mad at me for posting this, but you have to identify a plan B along the way. You might have to hustle if things don't go the way that you desire. And so I'll share this story with you, as part of the process. As I continue to get my coaching business up and running, I have a talent for building websites. That's one of the things that I can also do. And so as part of the process, as I was getting my coaching business up and running, I was even in the midst, as things were slow or I experienced slow seasons, that I was simultaneously also offering web design services and creating websites just to make sure that there was cash flow within my overall business. Was that my overall focus to be able to do that long term? No, that's not the thing that I would want to do on a regular basis long term. But you might have to hustle if things don't pick up the way that you desire. And you have to also know multiple things that you do well, just in case you need to take care of your bills, you need to put food on the table, et cetera, et cetera. So you need to have a plan B identified, even if you never have to leverage or exercise it. So that's number 11. Number 12. Leave your job gracefully. And so that's kind of like the grand finale when I'm working through this program that I'll share with you in just a minute or so. You need to leave your job gracefully. Never burn bridges. Let me say that again. Never burn bridges. Never burn bridges. Leave your job gracefully. And that's the last step of leaving your 9 to 5, is that you want to leave your job gracefully so that if something or in an event that you need to go back to it, that you can go back and know that you have never burned bridges. And as part of the program that I offer, this is one of the grand finale things that we do. We write our resignation letter. And so you write your resignation letter and you keep it on ice, and you'll be able to pull that thing out at some point and be able to hand it in. And oh, what a happy day it will be when you're able to make it through these steps and reach the point where you're ready to take that step of leaving to pursue your own business and pulling out that resignation letter that we work on as part of the program that I offer. You're able to leave your job gracefully. You're able to leave your job with class, and you won't burn bridges along the way. Think about that. Like, this is the last step, leaving your job gracefully. Think about it. Think about having that resignation letter written, that resignation letter that's prepared to say, okay, I'm pursuing my own opportunities. Man, how powerful is that? How awesome is that to be able to leave your job, already have your resignation letter ahead of time, and be willing to say, okay, I've reached that point where I can now hand it in to the person, my supervisor, my boss, or whatever the case may be. And so that's the last step, leaving your job gracefully, doing so, never burning bridges. How awesome is that? That's awesome, man. I'm excited for you because I think each of you has the potential, especially if you stayed on the actual webinar this long, that it's resonating with you and that you're thinking about how this applies to your life. And I want it to apply to your life. I want it to be something that that impacts you. So, that's the last step, is being able to leave your job and do so gracefully without burning bridges. And so I want to give you this heads up. All of these steps are actually addressed in my 9-to-5 transition blueprint program. I have a program that's designed to address each one of these steps, the 12 steps to leaving your 9-to-5, and they're covered in my 9-to-5 transition blueprint program, where you get a chance to go through different modules that will allow you to attack these steps one by one. And each week we cover 3 topics to help you get closer to your dream of transitioning from your 9-to-5. And so I told you at the beginning, and I want to keep my promise, that I was going to offer you a chance to be able to really work with me beyond the contents of this particular webinar. And I want to give you that. I want to honor that. I want to show you how you can work with me beyond this webinar. And so what's next? Well, you really have a choice. So you can continue procrastinating, or you can decide that you're ready to take action. And hopefully it's the latter. Hopefully it's the, okay, I understand this. I'm ready to take and move forward and take action now. And so I'm hosting an awesome 4-week program. It's an online program to get you the tools that you need to launch your business and to transition from your 9-to-5. And so those 12 steps that we discussed are contained, and we address each one of those as part of this 9-to-5 transition blueprint program that is offered. And like I said, it's an online program, and it will allow you to attack each one of these areas individually. And we do it in a group format, so it allows you to learn from one another, so that you're not by yourself, and that you have a group of people that you start with that will be accountability for you as you are making your way through the process of leaving your 9-to-5. So that's a powerful thing as well. The group format allows you to learn from one another. We have weekly teleconferences for those 4 weeks, or webinars, along with homework assignments. And so it's associated with, each week's assignment has a certain set of topics that we'll deal with, and you'll have homework associated with those particular topics as well. I have a limited number of spaces for those who are ready to make the decision to move forward. So that is, hopefully that you are ready to say, okay, I'm ready to take that step, because I want to accomplish these 12 steps. I'm ready to move forward so that I can start working towards my dream of being a business owner, and do so in investing in yourself while you still have your 9-to-5, and so that you can use your time wisely and your resources wisely. The 9-to-5 transition blueprint program, at the end of that program, you will know your why. You will understand the entrepreneur lifestyle. You will understand your strengths and your weaknesses. You will gain the confidence required for you to take the big step. You will have started drafting your business plan. You will have initiated a draft of the financial resources required to get you started. And that's just a subset of the things that you'll have at the conclusion of the program. And so that is huge. Those things are huge as you are preparing to launch your own business. You will receive this value pack program that will allow you to realize your dreams for actually $479 is the regular price for the online transition blueprint program that I offer. And that program will actually change your life. I know that it sounds kind of corny, because a lot of people say that, but I wholeheartedly believe that if I can take you through these 12 steps of the program, that your life will be changed, and you will be better positioned for success than a lot of people who just simply step out without knowing these things and not having gone and laid the foundation for starting their businesses. This will also give you some additional freedom because you're able to do so while you are working your job and being able to leverage that income to finance your future. And better yet, why not leverage being able to leverage my expertise along the way so that you can learn some things that it might take you some months, maybe some years to actually come across and have to learn that lesson. Why not learn from me where I'm making myself available on a weekly basis to help you through this process? And so for only one payment of $479, that program is available for you. Week number 1, we'll cover knowing your why. We'll cover the entrepreneur lifestyle. We'll cover brainstorming business ideas. That's week number 1. We'll cover that. Week number 2, we'll talk about managing your finances, creating a business plan, and roles and responsibilities. That's week number 2. That's covered in the second module. We'll take a look in week number 3 at knowing what you do well, knowing your industry, and knowing who you can count on. And we'll identify each of those things because at some point along your entrepreneurial journey, you're going to come across this, and this is going to be something that you'll need to take into account. Week number 4, we're going to talk about how to brand you. We're going to talk about identifying your plan B just in case you have to hustle if things are slow or if something happens along the way. And we're going to talk about drafting that resignation letter, so how to leave your job gracefully. And so that'll be the final touch. Just imagine at the conclusion of the program that you have drafted your resignation letter and boom, you are ready to move into the next season of your life. It's a great thing. And so think about that. 4 weeks, 4 modules, 12 different topics that we'll cover that will allow you to transition from your 9 to 5 and have covered the bases along the way. I'm also going to give you a bonus, a couple bonuses. Bonus number 1 is that you'll be enrolled into my business networking group where I conduct weekly calls to assist with your business. So the one of the things that I've learned along the way is that people, after they go through these programs, oftentimes they still find themselves stuck. And so they invest a lot of money into some of these guru programs. And at the conclusion of the program, they're stuck. They don't have a way to ask questions. They don't have a way to continue to really understand some of the concepts that are taught within the program. And so after going through a couple of those iterations, I realized that I needed to form a business networking group that allows people to still remain connected to me. It's a group call where we share different topics every week. And you will be enrolled into that business networking group where I conduct these calls to assist with your business. And so by enrolling in the 9 to 5 transition blueprint program, it gives you access to actually enroll into the program, complete the program, and then enroll into the business networking group at no additional cost. And so the people that actually have to purchase enrollment into my business networking group, they have to buy that. It's a monthly membership fee for them to be a part of that, where they get a chance to be a part of those weekly calls. I don't do that free of charge. I want to make sure that I do it for those who are ready to invest in themselves. But if you invest in this program, then you'll automatically be enrolled into the business networking group where I conduct those weekly calls and can answer your questions. Bonus number 2, you'll get a one-on-one consult with me for 1 hour. So after we finish the program, we'll schedule one-on-one sessions where we get a chance to really talk about what's going on with your business idea, and to give you some reassurance as we transition out of the program and then you begin to be enrolled into that business networking group where we have those weekly calls. And so that is very powerful. It is something that is an added bonus. And so even if you think about it, people are paying me $225, $250 an hour to consult with them on a business standpoint. And so that's an added bonus into this 9 to 5 transition blueprint program. And so that gives you a chance to have that as part of the package as well. If you register today, you will get an additional $130 off the program price of $479. And so this is available for you who register today. You'll get the actual program for $349. And so for those of you who are logged in on the website that you register for the actual event, there's a button underneath that allows you to purchase the 9 to 5 transition blueprint program. Instead of having to make the investment of $479, which is still well worth the investment, you can enroll for the price of $349, which is $130 off the program price. Why can I do that? Because I want to make sure that it's affordable for everybody who wants to make this transition. I also want to allow people to feel like they're investing in themselves without making it hurt too much. And so I want to make it so that it's a realistic investment for yourself. And like I said, it's a 4-week program. You get the 2 business bonuses where you're enrolled into the business networking working program, and you get a one-on-one consult with me. And you can do that the 4 weeks, the business networking program, as well as the one-on-one consult with me. You can do that for $349. The button is down there underneath the chat window for those of you who are logged on online. And so take advantage of it, man, because after today, I'm going to take the price back up to the regular price of $479. And so I want to make sure that you are able to take advantage of that. If you are not on the actual site where you see the button so that you can purchase the program, you can also contact me by way of email, info@kennypugh.com, info@kennypugh.com, and we'll reach out to you to get that program purchased for you so that you can take advantage of this particular rate. If you participate in this webinar, just refer to it as I participated in the webinar and I want to get the webinar special rate. All right. So that is yours for $349. I want you to understand that the next program for the 9-to-5 transition blueprint is going to take place beginning the week of October 5th. And so that's when the actual first week of the program takes place. The week prior to that will be a pre-work assignment so that I get an understanding of where you are within your current 9-to-5 and how to move forward out of that. And then also, we'll start the weekly conference calls and homework. I just want to also give you this added incentive as well. Now, I almost forgot about this, that if you refer a friend, you get a $50 referral fee. So in addition to that $130 discount that you get, if you refer somebody else to take the program with you, then you'll get a $50 referral fee for doing so. And so you can contact my office directly for details, 404-793-7900, if that's something that you want to take advantage of. Or you can email me, info@kennypugh.com, and we'll get that set up for you. Go ahead and take advantage of the $50 referral fee. There's some people that pay for their programs by referring people, and they actually get to enroll for free. And so that's a powerful thing. So take advantage of that and leverage the opportunity to generate some money along the way. So once again, week number 1, know your why. Week number 2, week number 1, knowing your why, the entrepreneur lifestyle, brainstorming your business ideas. Week number 2, managing your finances, creating a business plan, and understanding roles and responsibilities. Week number 3, knowing what you do well, knowing your industry, and knowing who you can count on. And then week number 4, branding yourself and your business, identifying your plan B, and learning how to leave your job gracefully. So that gives you a chance to jump into that thing, and it's a powerful thing. So let's go ahead and take advantage of that. The 9-to-5 transition blueprint program is available. It's online. It's active now. If you want to take advantage of it, go ahead and click the button to go ahead and make that investment in yourself. And you won't regret it. It'll be something that you can look upon and say, man, that was a worthwhile investment, and will help to accelerate your transition. I know what I'm doing. I've gone through the bumps and the bruises already. So go ahead and leverage my expertise in order to be successful in that regard. If there are any questions, go ahead and feel free to type those in the chat room, and we'll see if we can get those addressed. I'll keep an eye on what's going on in the chat room, see if we can get that addressed. For those of you who are joining by way of the Google Hangout or YouTube, feel free to type in your questions as well, and we'll see if we can get those addressed or answered. Other than that, I am excited about what's getting ready to take place in your life, each of your lives, and knowing that you have the ability to be successful. And let's go ahead and be successful, man. Let's go ahead and take the steps necessary so that you can transition from your 9-to-5 and begin to work on launching or pursuing your dream. I'm a resource. I'm a coach. I'm somebody who's worked with a number of people to make this transition. And so this is something that I'm very passionate about. This is something that I think is very, very influential and something that will benefit your life and allow you to break free. So let's go ahead and make that happen. Let's go ahead and take a step towards investing in yourself. and we'll see what happens from there. Let me check and see if there are any questions within the Google Hangout area. I don't see. Okay, if you have any questions, for those of you who are tuned in via Google Hangout, go ahead and put those questions in the chat room. I'll see if I can answer those questions for you. Otherwise, I'm keeping an eye on what's going on out on the website as well for those of you who might have questions as well. And let's see if we can switch. Okay, so now we're back. Once again, hopefully you got some great information out of today's webinar. I'm excited that you've invested in yourself to make yourself stay throughout the course of this particular webinar, and that you're ready to take the next step to the next level. And so right now we're accepting questions or any comments that you might have. And then I'm going to give you a bonus, because I said at the beginning that I was going to share some businesses with you that you can think about pursuing, that you might want to implement or pursue as part of your business as well. And so I'm going to get to those in just a minute or so. I just wanted to see if there are any questions here in the chat room or on the website so that I can take a look and see if we can get those answered. Otherwise, I will go back to sharing the screen, which I'm going to do now, and see if we can get those business ideas back in place. And so let's go ahead and take a look at 25 businesses that you can start now. And so I've given you the 12 steps to transition from your 9 to 5. I've given you the program that's available to help you make that transition without you having to bang your head along the way. That I can invest in you, give you the steps, help guide you along that process. And that's something that you can invest in yourself. Now I want to give you this bonus because I promised it to you. 25 businesses that you can start even right now, something that's going to be simple for you to get up and running. And hopefully this will spur some ideas for those of you who are still with me on today's webinar. So let's take a look at that. 25 businesses that you can start. Number one, you can get into real estate. You can become an investor. You can become a real estate agent. You can become some kind of affiliate to the real estate market. And that's a great way to start a business without having to have a lot of money up front to make that happen. Number two, automobile detailing is another business that you can start. Number three, personalized gifts. And so people love to have gifts personalized with their name, some kind of meaningful statement, quotes and things of that nature. So that's something that you can keep in mind. Number four, senior citizen services. With so many people living longer, this is a great business to get involved in. Number five, the import-export business is a great business to get involved in. So you can import things at a lower price, or you can export things at a higher price, or whatever the case may be, to make a profit. Import low cost and then sell at a higher price, or you can export and make money off of those things as well. Number six, arts and crafts is another area that you can consider as a business opportunity for you. Number seven, a cleaning service is a business idea. There's a lot of people that are making money with cleaning services. Number eight, pet sitting is a quick and easy idea if you love pets, and you can start that within your neighborhood. Begin a pet sitting service. Number nine, web development. If you are a techie, you love learning about web development tools, there's a number of them out there: Wix, Weebly, GoDaddy Site Builder. If you can learn WordPress, those are ways for you to generate some additional money and build a business. Number 10, you can become a teacher. And not within the classroom, but outside of the classroom, teaching a specific skill, which will allow you to get compensated for it. Number 11, you can start a moving service. People are always moving, transitioning from place to place, and you can start a moving service to help them out. Number 12, self-defense, a self-defense academy. I know one that is doing very well with that. And so that's another business that you can start. Number 13, interior decorator. That might be your thing. If you have a heart for design, that might be an area or a business that you can start. An errand service or a concierge or personal assistant business. Those things are popular. Becoming an eBay seller or some of the other new systems that exist out there that allow you to sell products. Shopify is another one that's very popular. WooCommerce as well. Information marketing, as this is for a lot of you. If you have an idea, if you have a talent, if you have knowledge about a specific area, you can package it up in the form of information and sell it to people. So information marketing is something that if you have an idea, there is a way to package it up, whether it be in an ebook, whether it be in an online course, whether it be in a workshop format, that you can actually sell that information and make money off of it. And everyone has something that they know, whether it be about cooking, whether it be about creating arts and crafts, whether it be about fixing cars. You have something that you know and that somebody will pay you to teach them. You can become a personal trainer. You can become a consultant. And so you might have knowledge about a certain area and people bring you in to consult. That's another business you can start. Number 19, a professional organizer. Number 20, babysitting service. Number 21, junk removal. Number 22, a videographer service. Number 23, a social media manager. Those are ideas that you can actually start and you can start and move forward with. And so those are great business ideas that you can generate, a few $100s a month or a few $1,000s a month if you do it right. Candle business, if you like selling, candles, that people are making money because people love having candles in their homes. So that's something else that you can leverage as well. Number 25, a personal assistant. Lawyers, attorneys, doctors, lawyers/attorneys, doctors, busy corporate executives always are looking for personal assistants that will help them get stuff done. They can't, run to the dry cleaners. They can't, pick up this item or that item. They can't go out and purchase, clothing, or they don't want to. So they hire people to go and become a personal shopper for them, or to run errands for them, and they'll pay you an hourly fee, or you can get a retainer with a person and start as a personal assistant. So that's the 25th business that you can start. I want to go above and beyond, as I always try to do, and let's give you 5 more. Home delivery. And so do you have the ability to pick up something for someone and take it to them? Home delivery. Landscaper. If you have a green thumb, if you like to work out in the yard, then you can become a landscaper. Number 28, mail order is still a business that exists. People still leverage mail to order things. It's fading away a little bit with the invention, of course, of the internet and people's comfort levels with that. Number 29, network marketing business. So you can find a network marketing business that you enjoy, that you support the products and services that they offer, and that you can actually go out and promote as a business for yourself. And so that's another one. That's number 29. And then number 30, sales and marketing consulting. And so if you have the ability to teach people how to sell things or market things, why not become a consultant so that you can help them out in selling and marketing the things that they have to offer to their customers or their clients. And so I gave you 30 businesses that you can start. And so why not take advantage of investigating or researching some of those along the way if you don't have an idea that you're ready to start today. And so keep that in mind. Those are your 25 plus 5 businesses that you can start today. And so that's powerful. This is a powerful thing. And it's something that each of you really need to think about as you're moving forward. And so without delay, let's go ahead and see if there are any questions that exist out there. I don't see any in the chat room. Oh, I received one via text message. I received one via text message, and it says, how long will the special rate be available for the program? Great question. I am going to leave it up throughout the rest of this day. I might be generous and leave it up throughout the day tomorrow, but I would encourage you to go ahead and take advantage of it so that you don't have to call and say, hey, I missed out on the $130 discount. Is there a way for me to take advantage of that? You might not have success with that. So keep that in mind. If you feel compelled to move forward, go ahead and make the investment within yourself. If you need to break it up into installments, feel free to reach out to my office and we'll see if we can make that happen for you. But I want to make sure that you are being proactive, that you don't procrastinate, and that you are making a commitment to really, really invest in yourself. So that's the first question. Here's another question that is out there. What dates and times are the business networking calls? Well, the business networking calls right now are scheduled for Thursday throughout the course of the lunch hour. So it's more of a lunch and learn. for those of you who are trying to moonlight your businesses while you are working full time. And so you can tune in to those business networking calls during your lunch hour. Well, during the standard lunch hour of 12 to 1 here on the East Coast, and you'll be able to participate in that. Will I be able to provide insight in addition to what is covered in the course? Great question. Yeah, every week when we are having our group calls, you'll have a chance to ask questions related to the content of the program, as well as if there's something else that you want to learn or want to know about in addition to what we're covering as part of the program. We'll leverage those weekly calls for you, and we'll allow you to take advantage of those things based off of where you are in your particular business. Great questions. Are there any additional questions at this time? Let's see. I don't see any other questions that are out there. Hopefully you've learned something today. Hopefully I've had a chance to stimulate your mind. Hopefully there's something that you've been able to take away from our time together today. And I'm just going to encourage you once again to be proactive. Let's go ahead and get you enrolled into the 9-to-5 business blueprint program so that we can work together and I can take you through each of the 12 steps along the way so that you're better prepared to make that transition when it's time to leave that 9-to-5 job that you want to transition from, and that you can leverage my expertise and that you can get enrolled into the business networking group, ongoing teleconferences, as well as receiving that one-on-one consult from me. So hopefully this has been inspirational, motivational, and it allows you to have some food for making that step and taking the step to the next level. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and conclude our time together today. And I'm excited about working with you and helping you to make and realize your dreams. All right, take care until next time.